Welcome to CES and the Stagwell Content Studio from the Las Vegas Convention Center floor. My name is Grady Miller. I'm the CMO of NRG, and today I'm joined by Stephanie Freed, the CMO of Fandom. So thanks so much for being with me here today, Stephanie. Could you tell us a little bit and introduce Fandom for those who might not know too much about it? What does your role look like at the company?
Yeah, so Fandom, many people aren't aware of Fandom, but I guarantee you've been there, including you, hundreds of times. So Fandom is the world's largest fan platform. What that means is we have basically all of the wikis on all of the imagined worlds. So it was a spin-off from Wikipedia, which is really about the real worlds and the real people who are in television shows and movies and gaming. And what Fandom is really the extension of the imagined worlds, the characters, the storylines, the weapons from games, and really every detail that you would ever want to know about all of your favorite IP. So we have over 300 million fans that come to us every single month. If you search Luke Skywalker on Google, you're going to end up at Fandom. It's going to be the first search result. And you're going to get more information than you could ever imagine across 5 billion pages.
Can you give us a little bit more about your role at the company and what does that look like?
Of course. So I'm the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer at Fandom. And what that really means is thinking about our fans and how we serve them, right? Thinking about how we develop our products, how we build new features, how we think about other things that we can bring to life for fans so that we power their fandoms in a really amazing way. That also means looking at acquisitions. We just bought GameSpot, Metacritic, TV Guide, a lot of fan brands to really think about that holistic fan journey. So we're really thinking about how do we meet all of their needs across that journey in a holistic way to really create this one-stop shop for fans.
Speaking of consumers, I know that Fandom has identified 4 unique sort of identities within the audience.
Yes.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about those 4 different identities, and specifically how can brands and creators understand the needs of these identities to drive better impact in their content development or in their marketing?
Yeah, of course. So, what we talk about a lot, we used to come, when I first started at Fandom, we would talk a lot about super fans. Super fans, all the way from like casual, lean back, all the way to super fans. We always said Fandom is the home for super fans. But Fandom is really the home for fans, and there's a lot of different fan identities and ways that fans connect with the IP that they love. And it's not that straightforward as kind of casual fan and super fan. And we really wanted to get a better understanding of those fan segments and how fans connect with different IP. And they might connect with one IP in a certain way and another IP in a completely different way. So we dove in to really understand how close they were. And we found, for example, one of the fan segments, which is my favorite, is the advocates. And the advocates are really those people who probably connected with an IP kind of early in their life. It came to them like maybe through their family or through their friends, and they are so close with that IP that when they actually introduce themselves to someone, they say, "Hi, I'm Stephanie, I'm from Michigan, and I'm a Star Wars fan." Right? It's that much a part of their identity, just like saying that they really love to travel. And what this has enabled us to do is really understand how we service these fans in different ways with different features and different experiences within our platforms and across our platforms. But it also helps our marketing partners understand how and where to connect with different types of fan segments, understand what are kind of the share of fan segments within their different IP, and then how they should actually connect with those different segments through their whole marketing planning, which I think has been really helpful for them to get a deeper understanding.
What are some of the fastest growing communities on Fandom? And how does that speak to some of the trends you might be seeing generally in the fandom space in the coming years?
Yeah. So it's interesting. We certainly, for us, some of our biggest communities are Roblox communities. I'm sure you've heard of Roblox. We have over 70 million UVs just on our Roblox communities every single month. And the interesting part about Roblox, if you know it, is it's fan created games, right? Creators are creating these games, and there's thousands of them. So it's thousands of different kind of micro communities that are all part of this mega Roblox world of experiences. So one of the interesting things there is we're sometimes like the first to see what's going to actually trend. Like Bubblegum Simulator is a very big Roblox game. I've never personally played it, but we see those things kind of spike pretty early, and then we see kind of the trends that evolve from there. Certainly like Minecraft, Terraria, those are very big gaming communities for us. On the entertainment side, our Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki is obviously huge. We've obviously seen a lot of activity in Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. More recently, Star Wars is obviously also a very big community for us.
Can you tell us a little bit about any innovations that Fandom is planning for the year ahead, especially in the way that marketers might be able to deploy some of your first-party data, and any ways you're balancing that ability to personalize and reach the fan with consumer desire for privacy, if that's a concern?
Yeah, completely. We certainly think about that a lot, privacy, and really thinking about like what's in fan service versus what's not necessarily in their service but helps monetize. And hopefully those things come together in ways that makes their experience seamless, including the advertising experiences that are part of it in service to them. But basically for Fandom, we have kind of two key areas of focus. We have fan identity and we have what we call fan DNA. Fan identity is really thinking about how people live and love their fandoms and experience them, and that's kind of along those segments that we talked about. And so we're building a lot of features. I can talk about one of them here called Fan Central that's in beta right now. But basically this is a place where people's fandoms really come together in a centralized experience. Thing is like a one-stop shop for a fan as their home base for their fan identity. And we're going to be doing that not just in the centralized experience, but also within the wikis a lot more.
You've held positions both in the marketing sphere as well as in research roles at some of the top media brands out there.
Yeah.
What role do you see data and analytics playing in sort of transforming the marketing process, especially in such a data-saturated world where it's always about cutting through the clutter?
Yeah, so I love that question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I love it. Yeah, so my background was in research and is in research, and I got into research because I was really interested in understanding fans, honestly, from the beginning, because I really always worked in media and understanding like what do they want, what do they need, how can we create better programming that's going to meet their needs, both mass and broadcast as well as more niche. I've worked in, at NBC and I've worked at like Oxygen, and or TLC and at Discovery, and really understanding kind of these unique segments and understanding the gaps in the places that we can fill in content for all of these different types of fan needs has always been a passion point for me. I was on the side where I was buying research a lot, and at one point I used to say that there were probably 1,000 social listening vendors. Every day there was a new social listening vendor that came in to tell me all the things that they could do, and I'd say, can you just tell me how you're different from these 10 other companies who I've just spoken to this week? And they would say, okay, well, we have the Twitter fire hose. It's like, they all have the Twitter fire hose. Like, what else do you have? And it's very difficult, honestly, as a research buyer to understand what is the difference, what is actually unique, right? What is proprietary and what is real? Because you also have a lot of black box solutions where they pop out some kind of demand score, some kind of, where you don't really know like where that came from. Nielsen's always been very transparent for whatever it may be worth based on their set-top box data, but some things you know where they're coming from, some things that you don't. And I've always tried to think about like, what do we have that's really unique? What can we do well and what can't we do well?
I believe you're speaking on a panel later today about how brands and creators can partner to advance equity.
Yeah.
We've seen in a lot of our research that the creator space allows influential creators to expose people to new ideas, to expose them to new parts of the world, and really be able to shape their social and political views in a unique way with that parasocial relationship that people have. Any other key takeaways about the creator space that you can share?
Talking about it later, but yeah, I mean, I think Fandom is in a really unique place because I call ourselves a dual-sided platform. So we have fans and audiences, and then we have fans that create the content as well, right? So we have creators, and then we have people who come to that content that's created by creators and edited by creators. I think our creators are really special because our creators, the reason that they're there and the reason that they're spending their personal time with us is because they love that IP so much. And they love that IP so much that they want it to be documented. They want it to be archived, which they've talked about wanting to be called archivists, which is really interesting. And they want to make sure that the truth and the canon of that IP is somewhere where people can reference it and love the thing that they love so much. And so they basically do it in fan service, which is what we're around for also. So they're really our partners in making sure that all of this great information and immersion is here for fans to become bigger and better fans. So that's a really nice part about our creator community is it's about the content, it's about the IP, it's about their fandom. It's not about them. It's not about their fame, or it's not about monetization or career. It's more about loving the thing that they love and giving that to other fans as like a gift. What I would say also, what is really nice and unique is that for our partners such as a Netflix or a Hulu, we really provide a service to them as well, because when people are watching their shows, they're coming to Fandom to clear things up so that they can not be confused in the next episode and they can continue. Or they're coming to us in Minecraft because they want to figure out how to get to the Ender Dragon. And they might instead, if they didn't get that information, if they couldn't get to the next level of the game, they might stop, right? They might stop, they might get frustrated, they might stop, but they come and it unlocks kind of that next step, and it keeps them in their fandom.
Well, to wrap us up today, any advice you have to marketers around the fan community, things that maybe are misperceptions that you could give some advice to them about how to deal with fans in a unique way?
I mean, I think, listen, we live in a world where there's a lot of toxicity on a lot of platforms, a lot of social platforms you go, and there's a lot of hate, and people go not to talk about how much they love something, but to talk about how much of a disappointment some new season was or some new game franchise. I think the thing about Fandom that's so great, I think it comes from our creators and kind of our values, and the whole point of Fandom is that it's really a celebration of the IP. It's really about people who love it, who want to talk about it. So it's not, there's no hate, there's not a lot of opinion, honestly. It's really about the fact and the things that are happening and the things that people should tune into and the things that people might not notice about the storyline. And it's really a very nice celebration. So I think part of what I would want to say is that there is still a lot of positivity. There's still a lot of fandom and love for this IP, and it really exists in Fandom, I'm sure also in other places. But it's great to connect around that and to become a bigger part of that.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was a great conversation.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
And thanks for joining us here at the Stagwell Content Studio at CES.